was that you can go into executive session on a simple majority if you have 2 vacancies. Because before that, you could never go into executive session if you had 2 vacancies on your board. I have a list of things that I brought, and I'm sure you don't really need to know. I have a conclusion. I don't even know if you'd like me, Mr. Chair, if you want me to take questions first and then have my brief little conclusion, and what I'd like to offer back is maybe a solution or what you'd like me to do next.
Yeah, let's see what you have to say first.
Okay, so we obviously really want to keep your membership. It's very valuable in many ways that we can stand up and say we represent all school districts in the state, that we represent bigger districts like yours, especially, that you have a voice, that we can have your legislators hear from you, and that we can help you with that voice. But like I said at the beginning, we understand that the dues amount is a lot, and we recognize that. So I've thought of a couple ways that I do have the authority to change some things, as far as offering some things that might bring that dollar amount down as far as your budget is concerned. So whether it's complimentary registrations to ISBA's annual convention, I believe you also utilize the free legal hours that ISBA provides with the law firm Anderson, Julian and Hull. We can give you some additional free hours where you have the legal, you call them and do that, and they send us the bill. So the 2 things I'm suggesting would take off nearly $2,000 of savings between free registrations to convention, as well as some additional free legal hours. Hopefully you've received the email from our office regarding the latest on the court order stay, and we there added 2 more legal hours, because we don't want school districts to hold back and think this is going to cost too much to call an attorney and say, what does this look like for us? Should we keep our policy now? Should we change it? Should we go back? That way you can have these legal hours to be able to do what you need to do. And you as a board may not use them, but I'm sure your administration does if you don't. So those were a couple of things. Our new Chief Learning Officer, Dr. Phil Gore, is excited to be here. He wants to come work with you on board training. Obviously, that's reimbursable through the state. But if there's topics that aren't, he said, I will come out and work with you, and we will cover that cost. We really want to try to find a way to work with you in a capacity that I'm authorized to do. So that's what I have, Mr. Chairman. If you or the other board members have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Well, thank you, Mr. A lot of good information. I'll just open up to the board and rapid fire.
Okay.
Full fire.
That's better.
I think that I'll just kind of step in as I usually do, but I think one of the things that really brought it forward was, when it's $9,030.36. I mean, that's a chunk of money.
Yep.
And we're facing deficits in our district this year. And, when these things come up, I mean, it is our job to question those things but on the other hand, in saying that, I'm going to play the middle of the fence there of what you do is wonderful. I mean, the training we've had have been excellent. It's just, you just wonder, where can we cut? Where can we do our part? And could we survive for a while not being a member? So I don't know. I don't have that answer. And so it was good to hear from you. So anybody else?
I mean, really, we're not taking advantage of the full reimbursement that we get, basically. So if we did, we were kind of netting out about 3,500, 33,000 right in there.
And Mr. Chair, I can help, as we go through this, if you choose to be members, and even if you don't, I still want to work with you to be able to find ways that you can use those dollars. Because there are a lot of ways that you can use it that we can help with.
When you meet with your board next month, and talk about non-member services, do you think you will have a kind of resolution for that at that time?
Mr. Chair, I think that the board they will be willing to say we can offer services to non-members, but for an increased amount. That's what our staff is prepared to propose at this point, because it's not fair to the rest of the members that non-members don't have to pay dues, but then have to pay or get to pay the same amount for fee services, such as board training or policy services or things like that. I think the board, because that would be our recommendation, I think that's what they would do, but just like any board, you don't know what they're going to vote on and decide. And they represent the entire state, so they may have a different decision. I don't anticipate the board changing their opinion about non-members attending events. Just because those are so expensive to put on, that it is a significant amount of just membership dues help pay for that aspect of it. So I don't expect that to happen. There's also things that we offer like that are part of membership, like the salary schedules. When you go to negotiate, you can look at this, you open this document online and you can see all of the neighboring districts or statewide districts that are the same size as you and see what they're paying. There's also the clerk's manual that outlines, for example, trustee elections are coming up very soon. And the clerk's manual, as well as all this information we will be issuing, will walk clerks step by step exactly what to do, what to post. The master agreement database, when you're negotiating, if you want to type in vacation, you can, every master agreement in the state will come up that has vacation leave. So those are a few things that I thought of. Also, the educational webinars that we offer. So we do monthly meetups. I hope that some of you have been able to attend those. We also do legislative wrap-up webinars. So when the legislative session's over, we take about an hour and try to bring it to a board member level that you want to then implement into your district about what was experienced there. Policy webinars, question of the day emails, just like what we released the other day or yesterday on the question of the day. All of those things, your member dues go to pay for those. And those all would probably end.
If I'm doing the math right, what you're offering for an offset and what we've been getting from the state, total wash.
You're probably,
You said it's around $2,000 for the complimentary registration and the additional legal hours.
Mhm.
If we maximize the 6,600 in training, and we're pretty close to that $9,000.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to go through you to, okay. So some boards are really strict and others are like, everybody can talk. She knows exactly why I'm here. And I said, you're wearing an orange dress too, just by the way, so. I need all the help I can get up here.
But having those interactions, talk about the agenda and all that stuff, I think that says a lot to the legislators when they've got a room full of school board members in there to support, and losing that and losing not just us, but how many other schools that are in the same prediction. It kind of sends the wrong message to the legislature when it's drawn on this like they are right now.
I agree.
That what they want to do, the way they're working things can work, and where the target from. So.
One thing that we worked hard on and we will continue to work hard, we have been all summer, is enrollment versus ADA. We realized more than anything that was awful for school districts across the state. I don't know that there was any winners. And so really just continuing to try to get that brought back. We've met with the governor's office numerous times, the state board office, the state department office, just trying to get that turn back around, because it's not helping any district with the funding right now. And I haven't done my research. I apologize to see if that's where your shortfalls are now coming from, directly from that enrollment ADA. Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw there's several members of the ISD executive staff that are working with the state superintendent and redoing the funding problem next year. They're trying to redo it.
We have 5 to 6 people in the room for every single meeting. And so my deputy director and I, and you're referring to the state funding formula committee, it's a subcommittee that's trying to revamp the funding formula for school districts across the state and charter schools. But we are, we sat there thinking, are we the right people to be at the table representing school board members across the state? And we thought, nope, we're bringing 3 school board members. So we have one from a large district, which is Boise, one from a small district, Melba, and one from a charter school, Meridian Arts Technical, I think, or Meridian Arts, charter school. And so those were the 3 that are at the table. And they are fighting. I mean, they are bringing up everything that they're seeing in schools. They're also representing districts across the state, saying what they are seeing happening. And then my deputy director and I are in the room too. And a lot of times we're texting, trying to feed questions, or if we're like looking around the room, seeing activity happening, we're doing that as well, trying to get information into that meeting. I don't know where it's going to end up, but that committee, I mean, we serve on probably 20 different committees, whether it's our staff or a board member, if we think that a board member would be the best person to represent you all. Back to your comment about the 6,600 and like being at a wash. I just want to make sure that I don't miscommunicate. The 6,600, you have to participate in something in order to get that reimbursement back, but it means you don't have to pay out of pocket. Now, the convention, you would normally get reimbursed for certain workshops that you attend, and you get a percentage of that. So what I'm offering is we are just going to pay for that. We're just going to take care of it so that you're not having to then pay out of pocket for any of the workshops. You attend what you want to attend that is best for you, and we will take care of that. The 6,600 is what you could be using for, other registrations to convention. Your staff could come. You could all come to Down the Hill, Leadership Institute, region meetings. Those are free though. Those are complimentary, but they are regional. So there's lots of opportunities and trainings in district to use that 6,600.
Chrissy, could you just once again mention what it was that you were hoping that we would become? Like you said, the workshop. What we would become for the.
What the State Department would reimburse you for, or, yeah.
Okay, so all of them don't have to go, it can be 2, 3, 3 or whatever.
Mhm. The State Department so to attend the ISBA convention, and to my knowledge, that's the only event where, all of you would be able to go and to be able to be reimbursed these. You sign in, or you sign a document saying, I attended these workshops that are reimbursable, whether you attend reimbursable ones, or if you don't attend them, you just don't say that you've attended them. And then we bring all of that in, we fill out the form for you, and we send it to the State Department of Education so that you can be reimbursed for that. In this case, what I'm proposing is we'll take care of 2 or 3, how many ever registrations you're looking at, to make this so that you can attend whatever workshops you want, whether they're reimbursable or not. We will take care of the registration.
You mentioned additional legal hours as well.
Yeah, so I had calculated 4 additional, because right now you get 4 hours. The hourly rate is $150 an hour. So that'd be, $600 of additional legal hours that you'd be able to get. And we just offered the 2 additional statewide as well. So you're getting what, 10 hours the ISBA is paying for this year.
What you guys are proposing to help with would be for 1 year.
So as I spoke to your Region 3 small district representative, he happened to call me about a different topic, and I told him I was coming and what did he think of all of this? And he said, you have to realize whatever you commit to them, you're not committing to the rest of the members, and and then whatever you offer, you're going to have to probably offer year after year. And sometimes you just have to do that in order to have people stay as members. It means too much to us to have you leave too easily without me stopping by and having this conversation and offering these. So next year I may be back here again, and we may be having the same conversation if I'm lucky.
Any other questions? Mr. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like me to stay for the action part, or would you like me to?
Well, we have to you.
Okay, she has her first day of school tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna leave.
Drive safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Albert, do we have any public input? Perfect. Okay, moving on to superintendent's report, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, a couple items from today. First day of school, things went well. And we are probably curious about enrollment. Today's enrollment were about 40 kids from the end of last year. from the start of the last school year on the same day, day one, we're up 100 kids. And most of those are spread out kind of K through 6 within the district. So not creating any real bubbles of concern there that we have. So, you know, more of what we had hoped was that slow growth, and that's much more manageable. As you can tell, the principals are back in the building. I'm sure they're thrilled to be here. So welcome back. And with that, they will begin building presentations to the board next month, and Nikki has volunteered to go first. So Nikki will present on West next month, and then we'll have one each month throughout the remainder of the year. Road update over by the junior high. So the roundabout is, last I talked with the city planner was they are optimistic that it will be up and running August 26th. So the weather caused a few delays over there. Had to let things dry out a lot longer than they had hoped for. And then, as Misty kind of alluded to here, Senate Bill 1100, which was fondly known as the bathroom bill, has been temporarily suspended, pending a lawsuit in the Boise district. So if you remember, that was the bathroom bill that required students and anybody in schools to use bathrooms and locker rooms that coincided with their birth gender. If you recall, when that bill was passed, we deleted our existing policy. So at this point, we have no state law and no policy in place. That first hearing date on that lawsuit is September 13th. I don't imagine that there will be much this 3 days before school starts. The judge enacted that order. So that's the update for right now. So I'd be happy to hopefully answer any questions that you might have.
On Senate Bill 1100. The danger of us making a policy that would be similar to what the bill was would be one.
I don't think there's any danger to it. I think if that's what you chose to do with it, you just have to be prepared that if there's a change again in Title IX regulation, it could make that, whatever policy came through the board on that, would make that policy not in effect if there's a change in that federal regulation. I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot done on this, though, you know, as it goes through court. And so it's probably wise to start looking at a policy again and bring that through the policy committee for input from staff and a few parents and students and proceed that route with it. But I think that it's right now, we're not in a bad position that we just don't have a lot of guidance for our staff on this without having a policy, without having the state law in place.
That's it for me, but I think it'd be wise to start looking in the beginning that policy discussion. It's just not creating, there's not an issue. Right, and when it comes in, no matter what side of the fence you're on any subject, you have to have something in place to go back to. You know, that guideline and that rule. Yeah. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But
No, trustee, I agree with you on that. We have to have something that we can operate under. I think another one that I think is gonna come up at some point this year is what we have on walls in classrooms. I think, there's a reason that policy has been put in place in other districts, and it would be wise to have that also go through the policy committee, just so that we make sure that in this process, that you're hearing from the voices that you need from on those policies. And that also gives more direction to all of us and to staff on those things that right now are kind of just in the gray area. And so sometimes it's really hard to operate in that gray area on controversial items.
glad to hear you say that, because I was gonna bring that up in the public engagement. I had two teachers ask me that if we allow just whatever we put on the walls, and this example was pride flags, or pride flags. Maybe both and I hang whatever I want. And I thought, boy, that's a dangerous road, but we can go down. Obviously, no, we don't want that. Thank you, James. Board of Trustees, Public Engagement Report. Anybody have any report? I just report 9.
Had several people. What we did for the pay raise this year.
Thank you, Trustee Benny. Anybody else? Unfinished business, okay. ISBA, what do you want to do on the ISB? So I think our last discussion last month, going down the road of, we probably will pause for you. I think it's kind of how we left it. We were going to table it based on, sharing. I think, Misty had a lot to share about the information, did that changing, but his opinion, open up some minds, have, store on any questions, I guess. I'll go first. For me, it did kind of make me change a little bit to where if it's pretty much a wash, it's like, I like training. I think training is good. I think training is good in my field of work. And if you can do it at a low expense, low cost, should look at it, in my opinion. I'm just one person.
I agree that I'm definitely on the principle that my only thing would be that if we stay with it and do the training, is let's make sure that we maximize it and.
And use it.
Yes, exactly, and not wait till the end of the year and oh shoot, we forgot to use it. Let's make a plan and execute.
I think we lose a lot of access to good training. If we're not. And a lot of. We lose the access, we lose certain accesses that's put in place, the methods that we can stand in our legislatures. Like I was saying, they show up for 2 days and you're in the Lincoln auditorium, just full of school board members and superintendents, it depends on that. And when the membership starts coming down, you get the wrong message. I think we lose a lot by not being done. When we do things in there, if we do it, we maximize the training. But that's 6,600 with a complimentary convention pay an additional hours. If the dollars add up, we're about between $500 and $800 off of what we will pay for membership that would be reimbursed. You get most of the money back.
I agree that it's very close to the wash. But it's too bad that we always see somebody from the ISB when you put our foot down and say, well, we're not gonna pay that. It'd be nice to see them more than once a year or 2 years, say, to address us as a board to see, what some of our feelings are, what's going on, and what they can do to help. Give some of that input, because not all of us attend the conference, or not all of us attend, the things on the deal. So, for me, it's great. There's no piece of deal. We're gonna have to do it again next year. And we know that. So I mean, I have a little bit better feeling about what's going on, but I'd like to see someone in here a little bit more often, once every 2 or 3 years, and we'll put a foot down and say, we're not gonna pay.
I'm sure if we can ask them to come, they'll be more than one, but there's like 9 on their staff. So it's hard to do the entire state, meeting, to hit board meetings. With the 12 years.
But still, they're coming and asking for money without representation to say, hey, look, how do we do, what's going on? We don't hear from them unless.
Well, would it be something that we could either ask them to join, even Zoom or something like that? They don't have to be sure, but they can at least present something or talk to us, allow us to ask questions.
Well, and I think too, to keep us abreast of exactly these hot topics that are going around the state. I mean, we would like to hear, we would like to know where these things are becoming more of an issue. And just to be prepared, just so that we can prepare our staffs better in our schools and not just wait for something to just kind of blow up on us. So I do agree. I've always been a proponent of being a part of your professional groups, but if we can just be more cognizant of what is being asked of us as far as money, spending a chunk of money on our behalf with the state, and if we can carry that forward for other requests that we have, then, I would be fine with it.
If I remember right, 9,000 for that we put into membership wasn't all that we contributed last year. Seems like the maybe it was 13,000 something. So there can be another 2,000 on top of that.
But we're getting that, that was convention fees, that was. But they're gonna handle it and registry fees like that.
But what they gave us added up to 99, it didn't add up to the 13,000.
Right, because we're not paying, we're not paying additional money to go to convention this year. They are willing to pay for all of us to go to the convention on their dime.
And all of the partners too.
Right. At this point. But last year we paid that additional money on top of it. So that's why we had additional.
The other thing too, at the convention, they have a lot of workshops like she was talking about. And some of the ones, and I'll just be honest, sorry, but some of the reimbursable ones are stupid. Right? And some of the ones that are really good, in my opinion, are not reimbursable. So, I mean, that's attractive to me if they're gonna reimburse all of them. I'm like, all right, game on, let's go. So,
Yeah, that's the first time I kind of heard that kind of input. Really. I don't know, I was one of the naysayers before, because I just felt that it was, these are tougher times and we have a deficit. And we have got to make adjustments as we go. So.
But I agree, it starts with us taking advantage of every opportunity to give us money back. And just as a broad overview, we oversee a district in which we expect training to be done with the staff. We shouldn't be any different.
Well, that's true, I guess.
Maybe we try it for a year and see how we do, see if we maximize the reimbursable. An idea.
Since we voted on that before, now we vote.
You tabled it.
Right.
You voted to go to the
We just
convention,
voted.
which you couldn't go if you aren't members,
Right.
but you tabled full membership.
So at this point, is there a motion to continue our membership based on If you have anything you want to do. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, item B, approval to schedule additional training with the ISBA. You guys are allowed to do this? No, okay. So I would say, what's our biggest need right now? We talked a lot about changing our superintendent evaluation last time we did it. Maybe that's where we start. Yeah.
I know last year we got a list of stuff that they were offering. Probably a good idea to do that,
Yeah, but we should look at that.
especially with Dr. Cole being their new trainer. And what he's looking at doing.
You guys like getting that list like we're talking about and review it over the next 30 days and then next month we pick on the schedule.
I think that, when we come back next month, we need to have it ranked and then kind of get them all scheduled.
I agree.
I mean, spread it out, obviously, but.
I like that. So I think we'll table that, Sharon, getting that information. That's good. All right, new business approval of the school safety and security grant, Mr. Wallman.
Chairman, members of the board. You may have heard last year about last spring as far as the state and the grant together for school districts to award $20 million worth of grants to school district and individual buildings. And you may look at the background as far as what all that is, and but really I'm seeking your approval as part of the process in order to submit the grant for the state. So we have 8 schools, $160,000 eligible for us. And so at the very back of the application, there's examples as far as what the schools are eligible to use. And part of that process, we looked at as far as just getting requests from buildings. As far as, for example, securing fencing, upgrade to cameras, replacing cameras. We looked at Informacast as a demo, which is a mass notification, digital radios. What was the other one on here? Yeah, I got all those. And so replace the exterior doors was a request, some of those high cost exterior doors. And then other controlled locks at certain places within the buildings, as far as just give us, more access and more control over certain things that people are accessing after hours. So those are the type of things that requests were made. Informacast as being a mass notification. If there's an alert made, we can be able to get more information out quicker and more accurately on a wider range as far as using existing devices such as our intercoms, phone systems, monitors, TV displays. That just gets it out at one time. And so that's what we looked at. We looked at upgrading digital radios because we have radios that are UHF and VHF. And having VHF creates a whole number of issues when we're working with UHF radio. So it just makes communication an issue. And part of the grant wants to make sure that whatever radios we get, they're future proof. So as things kind of move forward with radios and frequencies, these radios will be able to stay with the future as far as frequencies, restrictions, and so forth. Cameras, the reason why we looked at cameras is because we're looking at replacing old cameras and identifying blind spots within the buildings to give us better accuracy or better view of the building as far as entry and hallways and surrounding areas of the buildings. So as far as just a little bit, as far as just rough estimates, as far as cost, Informacast, $40,000, cameras, $55,000, radios, $75,000. We went a little bit over on some of these things, especially radios, just so that we had more radios in place throughout the buildings. So I don't know if you have questions about the application, but it's just part of the process that we have to go through in order to get approval from the state to use these funds.
All of those things that you discussed be across all buildings.
Yes, so the Informacast is bringing in a system to where it just, Matt, if I screw this up, jump in at any point in time. It's just what's the right word? I'm drawing a blank now and then I'm on the spot. But it just integrates all the SAFE systems as far as what we have because they're separate vendors. And so it just kind of bring everything together to where, okay, you go through us, but we'll make sure that we get stuff out in the intercom, we get things out on the phone, gives us the ability to do other ways for staff to respond in case there's alert. So whether it's in a classroom or there's other features down the road as far as being able to do things on a mobile device, it just gives us more ability to communicate and so forth, and to get information out to staff. Okay. As far as the cameras go, yeah, it's across the districts. Each building has put in more requests to other buildings depending on their needs. So elementaries were always behind secondary schools as far as getting cameras at first. So you had bigger holes within their buildings as far as coverage and so forth.
When you talk about the phones, it's on the hard lines? Or the cell phone too?
You have the ability.
Yeah,
Both.
well, so here's a question on the cell phone. Will it actually come through or will it come out as spam? The reason I'm asking is, we had an exercise on base last week. My phone says it was a spam call or a robocall, depending on which time they called me. So that's what I'm wondering, is it actually something that's gonna go through those filters, or is it gonna show up that someone thinks they're getting a call about their extended car warranty?
So in our testing so far, it hasn't shown up as spam. But there's all kinds of features that we can use for that. There's an app. So teachers download an app, it pops up a notification, so it would be a phone call. But we can also do a phone call where it says, are you safe? Hit 1. If you're not safe, hit 2. Text message, same kind of a thing. So lots of availability. Same thing on like their phones in the classroom. We can pop a message up that says, hey, we're in a lockdown. Let me know. I have too many kids. I have the right amount of kids. It's all customizable.
So one of the myths that comes up quite a bit and had questions within the community, this money cannot be used for security guards. So that was one thing that came up quite a bit. So it's not meant for that at all.
We talk about the door replacements on here, Albert. So just putting like the resistant glass as the doors in, or?
You could, I think on the approval list, I believe that was one of the approval things. But it's so expensive at this point in time, that would eat up so much of your budget. So you just try to get as much as you can.
Right.
And you trust Vivian, we're optimistic that this is going to be a ongoing grant through the state for safety.
We get a motion to approve the Longhurst applying for the spring.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're with transportation requests, Mr. Gibbon.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have 2 requests this month for in lieu of transportation. Again, these are requests for areas that we do not currently have bus routes going to. Parents that transport students are reimbursed at the district reimbursement rate for a trip each day to bring their children to school. Typically, these are requests coming out of the Pine Federville area. So I would ask for your request to remove transportation requests for this month.
If we get a motion to approve the transportation requests as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? For approval to activate Pine School.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, with reporting through IC to the state, we need to go ahead and activate Pine School. I'm not asking you to close the school. If the board will inactivate it, then we no longer have to report it through IC. Because right now what it does is it throws errors because there's no kids there, but we're still reporting it. And so I'm just asking for board approval to inactivate Pine School for state reporting purposes.
This would be just for this year.
Yes.
We'll do preventative maintenance and all that.
Yes. Yeah.
think we get a motion to approve the placing fine on inactive status.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? School bus transportation routes and safety busing improvements.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in your board packet this month, you have 34 pages of bus routes. Routes for the most part are the same. What you will notice in red are changes in stops. And so those stops typically change when we have students either coming in and attending in an area that we need to add a stop, or students that may be leaving, or we need to get rid of stops. So there's quite a few in red this year on there with additional changes. They are still in the process of hiring drivers. They were short the other day, but they're getting that to where it needs to be staffing wise, and so there weren't any real issues this morning with it. Included in this request is also asking for approval of the safety bus routes. Again, those safety bus zones, we have 4 of them in the district. They're typically in areas that either do not have sidewalks or are in areas where making kids walking to school don't have access to sidewalks, or there may be a heavy traffic area, or in our community is irrigation canals as well that create safety issues to train tracks. And so those 4 areas are still the same. Area 1 is over off of Air Base Road, and then over by McDonald's there. These areas all are within the 1.5 mile requirement that we would not have to transport students, but historically we have, just because of those safety areas. Area 1, just with Air Base Road. Area 2 is over by the Mellon subdivision there, and that primarily there's no sidewalks, and there's numerous irrigation canals in that area. Area number 3 is off of Canyon Creek. Again, not very student walking friendly. And then area 4 is this area over here by the train tracks. And those, when I say safety routes, it's not just one route. Those are areas where we transport kids to all different schools within the district that reside in those zones. So I would ask for your approval of this year's transportation routes and safety busing routes.
James, I have one question. On this, is this our product or theirs?
This is theirs.
Yes. I just hoping I could color coded differently. So we know what's new and what's going. I'll make a motion to approve the bus transportation routes and safety busing approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 24-03, calling for a trustee election for zones 1, 3, and 5. Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in your board packet this month is resolution 2403, calling for trustee elections. This will be for zones 1, 3, and 5. Included in that resolution is also a official ballot, how that format will appear on that, as well as I believe it has. And then if there's questions on where those zones are, directions for individuals to be able to locate those areas as well. So stating that that election will be on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Polls will be open between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And again, this is an election run by the county. School district does not run elections anymore. So
Except for certain.
I would ask for your approval of resolution 2403.
So moved. And all in favor? Any opposed? Declaration of hiring emergency. Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, each year we are required to ask our board to declare a hiring emergency if we are unable to fill any open teaching positions with individuals who are not fully certificated through the Idaho State Department of Education. We're able to hire individuals that are willing to accept these positions, that are enrolled in current programs or are in the process of gaining certification through an alternate route. This year, there's a pretty extensive list there. You'll see we have 12 areas listed. I will tell you, we are in better shape than most districts in the area as far as vacancies go. We were able to fill everything for the most part, and feel fortunate that we've got some great new staff on board here, and hopefully this is a trend that over time changes with education, as more folks go into education and help with that teacher shortage. So I would ask for your approval of the declaration of hiring emergency and alternate authorizations for the 23-24 school year.
I have a quick question. So where it says like 2 unfilled positions, are we still?
No, that's how many positions there were.
Okay.
We feel it, we feel it.
We've got those. The only ones we're still short right now, I believe, are at Hacker.
We get a motion to approve the declaration of hiring emergency alternative authorization.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? We get a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Trustee Knox. Trustee Perez. Trustee Benyon.
Aye.
Trustee Donahue. Trustee Chairman.
Aye. Be it so resolved that the Board of Trustees, School District 103 recess from an open meeting into the following executive sessions pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206 and B. To consider the evaluation of a public school employee, Idaho Code, be it further resolved that following the executive session, the Board of Trustees will convene into public session for further business or adjournment of the meeting.